Good evening. Today is August the 14th, and my video is going to be titled Every Day. I've been hearing this for the last week, and I wrote it down because it carried so much weight. And I think it's well worth meditating on. It says, live each minute of every day, being intentional in all things. In other words, being intentional in how you study, how you pray, how you walk through your entire day, your outlook, seeing where God moves through your day, and even the small things. You look at Abraham, and although he did mess up in a sense that he gave in and laid with Hagar because his wife became impatient, and of course I'm sure he didn't argue a whole heck of a lot. He's a man. But in the end, he waited 25 years for the son God promised him. He didn't get a shortcut. He waited. And he got exactly what God said he'd get. When we wind up somewhere in the middle of where we are, feel like we should be and where we're headed, we have to wait ourselves, trusting in God. It's not silence. He keeps his word. Stay in it and you'll see it. Hebrews 6:15 and 16 says that, and so it was that he, Abraham, having waited long and endured patiently, realized and obtained in the birth of Isaac as a pledge of what was to come, what God had promised him. Men indeed swear by a greater than themselves with them in all disputes. The oath taken for confirmation is final, ending strife. See, we have to be careful in what we let in, what we allow into our hearts, because we're warned that out of the heart is where evil can start. Everything comes out of it, good and bad. When you scroll, what you replay at night, who you talk to, when you're in low, when you're struggling, it's all in how and what you surround yourself with and allow into you. It all leaks into how you live. Guard that place like it matters, because it does. Everything downstream depends on it. Remember that everything that you feed on, everything you allow inside, eventually it's going to come out, and it's going to show what's really going on. Look at Proverbs 4, verses 23 through 25. Keep and guard your heart with all vigilance, and above all that you guard, for out of it flows the spring of life. Put away from you false and dishonest speech, and willful and contrary talk. Put far away from you. Let your eyes look right on with fixed purpose, and let your gaze be straight before you, so you don't get distracted and wind up in the ditch someplace. You have to decide what you're going to give, and then give it because you want to. God doesn't want anything you hand over while you're annoyed about it or because somebody guilted you into it. Give what you actually decided on with your whole heart in it. That kind of giving is the kind of God, the kind that God loves. You know, we're told that God loves a cheerful giver. Well, if you're giving it grudgingly, do you really expect God to accept that gift? I don't think so. 2 Corinthians 9, verses 7 and 8. Let each one give as he is made up in his own mind and purposed in his heart, not reluctantly, sorrowfully, or under compulsion. For God loves, he takes pleasure in, prizes above all things, and is willing to abandon or to do without a cheerful, joyous, prompt to do giver, whose heart is in his giving. And God is able to make all grace and every favor and earthly blessing come to you in abundance, so that you may always, under all circumstances, whatever you need, be self-sufficient, possessing enough to require no aid or support, and furnished in abundance for every good work and charitable donation. One of my favorite stories is about the widow's mite. And, you know, Jesus is sitting there watching as the people are coming to the temple and giving their tithes. And the widow's mite's recorded in Mark 12, verse 41 through 44, and Luke 21, 1 through 4. And it describes a poor widow who placed 2 small copper coins, a mite, into the temple treasury. Jesus observed that while the rich gave large sums from their surplus, this widow put in more than all the others because she gave all she had to live on. The meaning on this centers around sacrificial giving and faith rather than monetary value. The key lessons: God measures sacrifice, not amount. The widow's gift was proportionately greater because it represented 100% of her resources, whereas the wealthy gave only a fraction of their abundance. And it's total dependence on God. By giving her last means of support, the widow demonstrated complete trust in God to provide for her future, an act of devotion Jesus commended. And the value of small gifts. The narrative teaches that no offering is too small if given with a willing heart, and that God honors the sacrifice behind the gift more than the gift itself. So I'm going to stop there, and I'll pick up where I'm leaving off there. I still have another page and a half. I'll use that for Monday. So I love y'all. I appreciate y'all watching these videos and sharing and liking and subscribing. It's been a real blessing. I love y'all, and I will talk to you Monday. Bye.